fantastic to have you ladies here today. What a gift. And so, Kim, I'm so honored to be able to connect you with some of the girls on She the Mighty and to give them this opportunity. I'm so excited to be here to participate and to witness because Kim and I have had conversations and I don't even know what to ask sometimes, like in this is such a new exploration for me. And so I've known Kim through Facebook for
Mm.
over a decade, but have been so impressed by her and the wisdom I've seen her be able to impart with people. I feel very blessed to be able to introduce you to Kim and to have this opportunity. She's in Australia, and so for her, it is 6 a.m. her
Yeah.
time. Right. So for her to be able to make this happen and be here for us, she had to get herself up and ready to go and all of those things. And so again, I'm so appreciative. And Kim, it's such an honor and such a pleasure. And I'm so excited for what that is going to happen in the next hour. I have no idea. And yeah, so I'd love to pass it over to you to say hello and give an introduction and for the girls that are all able to make it and be here. Kim is going to tell us the way that she would like the next hour to flow. And so, Kim, again, such a pleasure. And I'm going to pass the baton over to you.
Thank you for all those beautiful words. It's so lovely. It makes me actually quite, well, blush and get quite embarrassed because I'm actually just as equally as excited as you guys. Like, I don't know what's going to come through. So I actually really love doing this because I always learn something new myself. So I can actually like I actually love that you guys are here, and I really, really get excited when we've got this collective of people that can ask me the really cool questions, because I then go, oh, cool, let me find out, because of course I don't know. I'm just this little human Kim on this planet. So it's just like when even me just getting up this morning, I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going to come through this morning. I wonder what we're going to talk about. And honestly, touch wood, it's never boring. It's really, really interesting stuff. Like, even yesterday I got some really cool information and I'm like, what is this world? It really blows your mind, some of the stuff that comes through. So of course we're in this business group, so I actually really love that we can use this information for business, because we can. And so when it comes down to questions, it's really important because I can do all kinds of work. I can do psychic work, I can do mediumship, I can do all those kind of things. With channeling, the reason why I love channeling is it's just next level information. So it's not just relevant for the question you're asking, it's relevant for everyone here who will be able to use literally everything I say for your own benefit somehow. It'll hit you somehow with some level of truth that will make you go, I can use this even though it wasn't my question and it wasn't even related to anything I need to know. And that's what I really love about channeling, is that you'll take something from it, even if you haven't asked a question, or even if you don't think it's relevant. It's more your gut will tell you whether it's true or what you like want to take from it. If nothing makes or something doesn't make sense, I do actually fully encourage to speak up and say, can you expand on that? Of course, I'll go, hang on a second, I'll get more information. And so again, it's like a completely open channeling experience that we're all having together, because it's almost like this collective energy is creating what is going to happen here. So I just love that. What we might do as we get into it is do like a hand raising thing. So if you want to ask a question, you can just like raise your hand, and Michelle can kind of coordinate all the coordinations of all that kind of thing. But yeah, and then unmute yourself and then just go for it. You can talk about business, but also if there's something else that's, personal or anything like that that you want to find out about, or even if it's like, why are we here? Questions, like
Yeah.
anything, whatever you're guided to ask. So raise hands away, go.
I almost feel like Kylie is very kind of in tune in this playground, I guess I would say. And so I'd almost ask, I know that she's just come off another business call, so it's, it's kind of like a freight train now, just switching gears. I'm so sure. Um, but so like, yeah, so for me, I'm so new in this. And I've had conversations with Kim where I've said, I don't even know what to ask, like I need to I need to see an example almost of how to demonstrate how to freely be able to play that way. So I would ask that. I would say, Kylie, can you, lead us off if you have any type of question or anything that you would like to ask Kim, or like start, where do we want to tilt this? And if somebody else does, then I invite you to as well. Yeah,
The other thing I'll also say, if it, I mean, maybe we can again switch it over to, instead of asking a question, you can actually want to talk about a topic. Like, it's also good to bring up topics.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's just say you might have, I don't know, from a business perspective, you might just say, oh, well, I'm really interested in this kind of a topic, or, what you get about this or whatever. And again, like, it's open to whatever you want to talk about, Kylie. So go for it.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you, Kim. I could just listen to you talk like about anything. I just love your accent so much. I love it. It's awesome.
I don't have an accent. You guys have got an accent.
We have an accent. I know. That's the crazy part. I know. It's like we all have accents, but I like yours better than mine, a lot better than mine. Yes, I'm having a liquid dinner as well because I'm bouncing from one thing to the next. But yeah, it's funny that you say that, Michelle, because I kind of came into this hour going like, I can't wait to hear what everybody else has to ask, because I don't know what to ask. Like, I really don't have a specific question. Although I'm really like, I guess you could say like into, I mean into as in really interested. My breadth of knowledge and my experience is, however, very shallow. Like I'm just I'm really moved into this arena of going like, wow, what is possible? Because I tend to feel that things are possible more than I do think that things are possible. It's more of like, I feel my way into everything.
It's really interesting because you've just brought up a topic. So technically, like with that feeling energy, this is where we're moving into. A lot of what I talk about is stepping into the new, this next thing. And everyone's feeling like something's coming, like something's happening, something's coming. And it's like, I'm almost like the person who can translate that feeling for you as to what that is. What is this thing? Because you can see, especially when it comes to business, I've got a business degree and run lots of businesses and all that sort of thing, which is great that I can link these two kind of areas. But the thing is that when it comes to these next level, it's actually really hard, particularly when we've been running businesses the same way. And we're picking up that we can't do it the same way anymore, but we don't know what this next stage looks like. And as you can see, what we're doing is we're opening up another can of worms, really, on this next level of what business looks like. And again, you'll see that your senses and your knowing are telling you something, but it's like, how do I translate this and what do I do with it? And that's particularly one of the things that I do teach a lot of my universal mind clients is how you read you read those senses and feelings to actually navigate your next steps. Because especially from a psychic perspective, I've actually seen in the last 6 months that everyone's like, usually I would say, people say, what's going to happen in this year or whatever, and I'd have a pathway, one pathway, and I'd say, this is what's going to happen, blah blah blah. Okay, what's happening now is we've got multiple pathways opening up at the same time. Why we're kind of going, we're feeling like, I don't know which one to step down to. And it's like, well, what is actually happening is we can have all of them happening at the same time. It's not even a matter of which one. So we've got to move out of, I don't want to make the wrong decision, into just making a choice. And then with each choice, we go down different pathways. But we really do need to step out of this concept of right or wrong pathway.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
and experience it all. And this is where it's super cool, because you'll find when you're in that flow of just making choices every day. Choices is a really, really important part of stepping into this new energy. Is you'll actually find that you'll start to have lots of different experiences, and don't be surprised if businesses start to deviate into lots of different things, but you're able to do them all and seemingly effortless, and it all just kind of just falls into place by itself. And you'll go, but I didn't do anything. And it's like, well, you just being there, making the choices is actually doing something.
Mm. Mm.
I feel like you've described my life. Like, I'm kind of like, at the end of the day, like, how did I do that? Or how, and I think it's because I've put myself into the accidents, right? Like I've kind of I've by choice, but very consciously, I think.
Yeah. And this is where, if you constantly put yourself into choice, like I'm constantly choosing these things without the fear of making the wrong choice, just knowing it's a different choice, you'll start to find you'll start to feel everything start to open up, and it'll keep opening up, and there's no end to the opening up. It's this massive level of expansiveness, and it can be a bit scary at first, because you've never had that experience before of this massive expansiveness that's opening up in front of you. But just all you need to do, those first steps, is just make a different choice, or just a choice, or do anything without the thinking, because all the thinking is linked to the past. Because your head is just like a computer, that everything that it has in it is what it already has, and what you're wanting to get access to is the new steps. So you'll never get it from here, but you can receive it through having no thoughts, and then getting ideas pop in, receiving any kind of level of messages or guidance. It'll just pop into your head when you don't have any of those ruminating thoughts going on. So I always say to people, if you do get stuck in your thoughts, just say no thoughts, and all of a sudden that thought will be gone.
Oh, wow.
That's lovely.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Because I'm definitely running on a 1974 RAM computer. It's like it needs a reboot, right? Like, seriously.
Definitely, I love that reboot, reset. It's technically what's happening, right? So, and our brains are magnificent, but we've actually not been taught how to use them properly. Yeah. So again, we do have these old computers that literally are just, what's happening is it keeps going into itself to get new information, and that's why we have anxiety and stress and worry and everything else, because it's just ruminating on old information for new situations.
That's so fascinating. So Kim, I have an analogy that we used when we talk about that topic, and we would say that it's like looking into the refrigerator of your mind, where you do this with the refrigerator. You stand in front of the refrigerator and you're looking for something that is going to inspire you to eat, but there's nothing in there. And then you close the refrigerator and you go away, and then you come back and you open the refrigerator again and you look at it again, and you're like, you're hopeful.
Okay, you go, I'll have that apple.
Right. And
well, no, you'll probably eat something bad, which is again those bad thoughts that keep going, because that's like the easiest option, because again, you think you don't have to think, but it's like it just keeps going around in circles. And this is where I say, if anyone is, to be honest, if you have any feeling whatsoever, any kind of feeling, which is even sad, depressed, lonely, worried, stressed, anxious, or any feeling, is actually just it's your inner GPS saying you've just gone back into the fridge, back into the computer, and you're looking for information, but it's not there. So as soon as you're aware that you've just done that, you watch, those feelings will go.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's their job. Their job is to tell you you're doing it. And so this is where, again, I want everyone to spread this around to everyone they know, that if someone is struggling with anxiety or any kind of feelings, it's literally just that inner GPS saying you're just using that old system, and we're ready for a new system, an upgrade, a reset. Yeah. And that's literally, it's really not rocket science. It's actually really simple. And you'll find the more we're getting into this, we'll call it this future way of living, it is very, very simple. Everything is very simple. So again, if we complicate things, you'll find again, you'll start feeling stressed or worried or whatever. It just won't feel right. But then if you come into just basics, you come back to the current moment, you just be quiet, you just listen. Like, it's like, oh, thank God I'm back.
Yeah.
And that's all we need to do.
I guess what's coming up for me is that the entire purpose behind what we are doing here, like with She the Mighty, what we're doing is the goal is to be able to provide a opportunity to be more collaborative, to be able to support more women, to be able to provide a different pathway forward, right? When we look at all the data, when we look at all of the statistics, when we look at, the way that history shows us the success rate, the challenges, the limitations, the more challenging, opportunities to be able to even get access to, that there has been a different story historically for women than there has been for men. I love men. I'm not saying men are bad, but there's been a very different story. And so this has been born from complete heart and effort and energy and passion and being in the trenches and on the battlefield and working alongside so many incredible people over so many years and wanting to be able to do something to be able to help create a solution so that we would be able to assist and have different opportunities moving forward. And then from conversations with Kylie during COVID, that kind of propelled us to where we are now, and making the massive investment in building all of this. But it's our intention to be able to do something, Kim, that's going to serve, that will allow women access to things that they didn't have previously. And how can we help? How can we help the mom who wants to run the cafe so that she's available to her kids after school and wants to be able to create a great contribution to her neighborhood, stay in business? How can we help to allow women to redefine what success looks like and be able to succeed and not run out of money, run out of everything? And how can we help them? And so I don't know if there's a question in there somewhere, but this is what keeps me up at night. Kylie and I fight for this consistently. We have conversations about what else can we do? How else can we do? What else can we do? So
yeah. I think what you're explaining also is what this new business looks like, right? And the old business, if you look at the old business models, their intentions were always to solve a problem. And again, that's marketing 101, right? Solve the problem for someone, you'll have clients for life, right? But the thing is, we're actually moving past that. And let's look at what you're talking about, which is you're creating, let's just call it an energetic space for growth, and expansiveness and collaboration, which is different to solving a problem. This is where we're stepping into. So that's where you'll find businesses who traditionally would be around just to solve a problem will actually start to disappear, because they're not going to have that market anymore, because people are sick of, honestly, if we were meant to be, and I'm talking about worldwide with every single problem that's happening on the planet, right? If we had the tools to be able to solve that problem, then there would be no problems. But look at the world. Right? Mm-hmm. This is how we solve the problems, by not trying to solve the problem. It's by actually working together, and learning, growing, expansiveness together, which already takes us from, again, trying to fix and change things into where else can we go? And it's different. It's a completely different energy. So this is where, again, business for the future is going to start looking more like that, which is very different to the old system of solving the problems. But the thing is, what they don't realize is we're actually solving problems by stepping into, again, it's like Instead of using the old system in your mind, you're stepping into something different. And so by stepping into something different, the old problems don't even exist. So you'll actually start to find that a lot of the systems that used to exist in business will actually start to drop away, because that's not what we're doing anymore. And I'm not talking just about, I'll talk about business as a whole, but at the end of the day, you know, if you look at even the pharmaceutical companies or the medical system or school system and all that sort of thing, that's actually having to start to change to step into more of a collaborative approach of, and also self-regulation, responsibility. It's all about everyone stepping into this next space of being their own savior and not requiring anything external. So again, when we look at, well, what does business look like if we were always here just to solve an issue or a problem or be the saviors for someone, when in actual fact we're moving into a different time? It's like we can just be there for people, and that is enough. Because what's happening is something is happening underneath, which we can just show up as ourselves. The whole be, do, have concept. When you just show up and be yourself and do whatever it is that you do, and it might not be, it could just be like me, just sitting here talking and and just talking, right? That could be enough. And it's not, can you see, we're not solving any problems here. We're actually moving into a different space where when we're in this space, the old problems don't exist. We're moving forward into something else. And when we continually move forward and move forward and move forward, you watch, if you send this conversation out into your own little worlds, everyone's wanting something new. We all are craving something new. And I often say, again, if someone's in their head, it's because their head is bored. The head wants something new. It wants new information. It wants to be expansive. It wants to be free. It wants to do everything for you, yet we've not learned how to do that. So this is where we're moving into, particularly in business, is we have to treat, and if you look at every issue on the planet, it has to be treated differently, because at the end of the day, we can't treat it the same way because we've already been doing it and it doesn't work. This is the feeling you guys are getting, is that I feel like I need to be doing something, but it doesn't feel like what I've been doing. Or again, like this feeling, you can't ignore it. It's just there. And what you can do is, when you actually allow yourself to feel it and look into it and read it, you'll actually find it has information, and it's very cool. Very, very cool. Again, what actually happens is that when you get that information, it's very interesting. What you'll start to find is you'll start to see more of those things. Have you found that when you think of something, or not think, but receive an idea, or you talk about something, and you don't even need to be talking about it, you could just receive it as an idea, you'll start to see it on Facebook, someone else will talk about it. But like, this is literally, it's not rocket science, it's how the universe works. It just aligns energy with energy. And people are saying, oh, it's the algorithm, or it's literally how the universe works. Like, it just aligns energy with energy. So again, the more that you start to play around in this new energy, the more you'll see. And again, it's endless, and it's fun, and it's awesome. And I don't know anyone on the planet who isn't ready for this new lifestyle and that we're talking about. And it's in every area of the world, and it's actually such an exciting time to be here and to be facilitators of that in business.
Yeah, I don't want to own the conversation. I know that Lisa's here and Annie's here, so I want to give them a chance to ask as well. And yeah, okay, good. Annie.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you, Kim.
Nice to meet you.
I've known Michelle for a very long time, and I'm surprised she didn't say this to me when she called me, when we were talking about you and how excited we were to hear you speak. Is, one thing that Michelle and I have always clicked on is, she'll say happiness and I'll say the positive mindset. And I find that with what you're saying in regards to, things are changing in the way we do business, I'm finding that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't happiness a form of spiritualism and having that positive mindset? I could be way off, and you could say, Annie, you're on glue, and I'll accept that.
No, this is actually really good that you say this, because in actual fact, and this is again where we're moving into, is we are moving away from all the meanings that have been put onto things. And to be honest, I'll use the word spiritual, but actually it's just called life and being a person on a planet and having an experience. And so you're actually right. I've actually done a whole big list of all the concepts and meanings and words and everything else that are no longer going to exist stepping into the new, because again, they're just null and void moving into this next energy. So what you're saying completely resonates, because at the end of the day, there's all this meaning and all these words and everything else, which are so heavy in all their meaning, whereas technically it's like, I'll give you an analogy, okay, and this is a really, really deep one. So I've just been over to the other side of the country because my sister is terminal, and I've gone over to spend some time with her. And that's my old home, and where I am is on the other side of the country, which is my new home. And I noticed that my head wanted to go into trying to make stories around, okay, I should, like, about the old home and the new home, and trying to, like, my head was trying to work it out. And because I'm such an expert at the mind, I love watching it do that. And I always say, if you can watch your mind do something, you're not your mind. Like, you literally are not your mind. So I loved watching it, right? I loved watching it, trying to work out, and I'm just sitting there just having a bit of a giggle to myself. And literally what came through was, that is a place and this is a place and that is it. Like, again, we don't have to put meaning on even, is that my home or is this my home? Again, where do I belong? Like, we don't even have to have that. That's a place. I belong everywhere. And well, I don't even have to, even me just saying that doesn't even feel right. I just exist. That exists in some form, exists in some form. And we don't need to put any meanings on what that is. It just is. And again, that opens up some level of expansiveness around what else it could be. But you'll start to find that it'll be more of a feeling-based awareness rather than a thinking. So what that's leading us into next, this is going more big picture, is the feeling. So when people talk about, let's just say how we telepathically communicate and we're all connected and we all talk together. Excuse me if I'm burping, but that just means I'm shifting energy for someone. My old healing date, I'm so sorry. But not sorry, because it's a good thing. So what happens is that when we're stepping into these other kind of non-concepts and we're stepping into this other level of truth, you'll actually find that the meanings will start to, and the words and the labels will start to kind of disappear. And they just won't feel right anymore. And what we're moving into is what we call the 3 T's. Now this is more big picture, but telepathy, teleporting, and telekinesis. And this is going to be a reality on the planet. So let's just start with the basic telepathy, and we talk about, okay, what telepathy is. We've all been brought up thinking telepathy is like going like this and sending a message from here, but actually it's actually the feelings. And it's the way we will be communicating through feelings. And again, this is how I've shifted from the human mind into the universal mind, is that the universal mind is based around here, see down there, here, and then you get the information come up to your head, and that's the last thing that will happen. The head isn't the thing that creates it. And so when we're talking about telepathy, it's like when people talk about being empaths and being affected by energy, it's like, okay, so we were always meant to be doing that and picking up on things. But what's going to start to happen is we will start to, again, we're all having these feelings, and that's not a coincidence, because it's all in alignment with what we're meant to be doing and where we're meant to be going. And so you'll start to find, I've even been showing we'll all be speaking the same language, because if you look at where miscommunication exists, it's through communication with our mouths. But when we're starting to communicate telepathically, and to be honest, I've been doing lots of trials and working on this, everyone actually thinks the same way through their souls. Everyone's soul speaks the same language, and everyone has a deeper understanding. And so what happens is that, again, moving forward, we will have this sense or feeling of what's happening or whatever, and don't be surprised if you talk to someone else that they'll have the same one. Same sense and feeling, and then we're all saying the same, speak the same language, and then we're all going to be communicating through our senses and our feelings.
So when you're saying feelings, are you talking about connections, like that connection of feeling valued and belonging?
Well, actually, I'll need to bring in another element, which is saying, so we traditionally link feelings to happy, sad, all those kind of things. But what I'm wanting to bring up is, again, when we're in those feelings, what that tells me is it's linked to thought. Like thought literally is linked to feelings. When we're going into senses, it's actually a different language altogether, whereas and senses isn't a right or wrong, good or bad feeling. It's a knowing. So it's linked to a knowing. So when we go into our knowing, what actually happens is that we get more information around certain things. So whenever, like when people say that I've got a bad feeling, usually that's linked to the head. It's not actually linked to intuition. Touch wood, I've never actually seen that bit linked to true intuition. True intuition is my sense is my sensing and my knowing. Feelings is actually always linked to thinking, again, the old programs. So it's a very cut and dry system, and again, very simple. So when we're moving into this next level of sensing and knowing, again, we're all speaking the same language and we can communicate through our sensing and knowing. And that's literally where we're moving into, which is why everyone's feeling the feelings that they're feeling. But if you're also in your thinking and your feelings, what will happen is, well, the old feelings that are linked to thinking, you won't actually connect to that so much. And so what I've been teaching is when we've got no thoughts and no feelings, our senses are like a muscle, so it's heightened and it's like turned on all the time, and it's a fabulous way to live. I just have to say that. It's very cool.
So are you saying, like, if whenever we have a bad feeling about something, to kind of change it to say what I'm sensing, for example?
If you have a bad feeling, you just say that's just a thought, and you go into no thoughts, and then you're back. So then you actually then go, well, what is my sense about this? It'll be different to a feeling.
Right.
And then we use the word, if you use that phrase, what is my sense about this? What am I sensing about this? It'll be definitely a different answer to fear, worry, concern. It'll be more like, oh, I'm feeling like it's just not the right time, or I'm feeling like I need to act now, or again, I use the word feeling, but it is a sense.
So then I guess that, like, I have a bad feeling about it, or I have a feeling it's not the right time. I guess the sense would be, okay, am I sensing I'm being, what's that word? Oh my God.
Okay.
Lazy about something.
So again, the concept, this is the great thing, and I love how you brought up the concept of spirituality, the concept, whatever. So lazy is also a concept. So everything is a concept, and once you come back to away from all our concepts, those concepts just don't exist. So even when you bring up the concept of lazy, can you see how that doesn't feel good? That's telling you that that's a concept that doesn't actually exist moving into this next phase. So then we go into, okay, so no thoughts. So, don't need to have that thought about lazy, because that's just an old concept that existed somewhere and I picked it up. To then going, well, what is my sense about this? Can you see how it switches gears? So you're not in your head, you're actually in your gut, and you're like, take a deep breath. Breathing's very good when you're actually in your senses, because it just connects you to that truth that you've got within you. And then it's like, to be honest, the first thing I pick up then, if you go, well, what is my sense about laziness? The sense is that it doesn't exist. And that you're just being here and doing whatever you want to do. And it's like, okay, so again, you can't deny that truth. And you'll find, like, I'm very lucky I get to work with a lot of people to see this actually unfold in that exact way. But you'll just find the more that you do it, the more that you'll realize that everything that we think is true is just made up in our head. And that we're, which is okay, that's fine, but we're not, like, again, that doesn't feel good anymore, which is saying, okay, so we need to move into this next level of work, which is let me tune into my soul wisdom, and it will show me what actually is true. And you'll find a lot of those concepts, again, lazy, even procrastinating, all those sorts of things. If you look at those concepts, they can't actually exist in the current moment. You can't actually be lazy right now. It's always lazy about the past or the future. Procrastination can't exist right now. It's always about future or past. So it's all linked to times that don't even exist right now, which takes us out of this current moment. So when we're in this current moment and that we're fully in our senses and knowing, we're just here, the brain goes, what do we do now? It freaks out because it's like, I need to think something. And then you're like, well, we're okay. And again, if you can have a conversation with your brain, it proves that you're not your mind. If you're talking to it, it's not the same thing.
But wait a second, you just said you can't be lazy now. But like, isn't that what we're trying to defeat? The fact that I could get up and do something for my business now, but I'm being lazy. Or am I misunderstanding something?
Well, if you're being lazy now, what does that feel like?
It feels crappy.
Okay, so what does that tell you?
Unproductive.
That's just in your head. It's just a thought, right? Again, if it feels. So then you come back to no thought, just a thought, it just exists. So come back to no thoughts, take a couple of deep breaths. What do you feel?
And then go to your senses.
But yeah, you come back.
We do that a lot as women too, don't we? We do that a lot as women. We say, I'm being too unproductive. I should be doing something right now. Oh my God. Right? Like we're constantly doing that, I feel like.
Jump in here. I love how you said we're constantly doing it. I'm going to actually give you some separation from you and your mind. You're not the same thing. So this is where you can notice your mind saying I'm unproductive, but it's like, well, again, that's just old if it doesn't feel good, because it's obviously an old concept that doesn't exist in this new stage that we're stepping into. And so this is where it's like, okay, so if that doesn't exist, what does exist? And it's like, well, we are just here and we're just doing what we want to do. And it's like giving permission. And with the birth again, it's an allowing thing. So you'll find stepping into these next levels, like even if you say, this is another thing to throw your mind out. If you say, oh, I'm lazy or I'm unproductive or whatever, well, just allow yourself to be. Watch how that changes. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just going to be that. Can you see it's like stupid? It's like literally not a thing. It's something that someone made up, and you watch. I had a client say everything that exists right now has been made up by someone. How crazy is that? So then we're just like literally just peeling away all the layers of all the things that we've been told is true. And we're just, again, be, do, have. And this is literally how the world is working and how it does work. So
I love the concept too, Kim, of being like you're an actor, and this is like your life is like a movie, your life is like a play, and you can go into the wings whenever you want or come on stage, right? Like the concept of illusion is something that is quite real, because so much of what we think has become a construct of society or a construct of something, and how our behavior, how like we think that we have to feel some way because of something outside of us, but actually if we feel first and go into our lives, we can actually, I think we can control what that experience will be like.
Yeah, and also what I'm seeing is that it's all available to us right now. So even if we say, I'm gonna tell you something that's quite mind-blowing. I only received it yesterday, and it's literally changed how I see everything, right? But this will actually help you to understand about where we're moving into. So a friend of mine recently told me that all the reasons why they believe that the earth is flat. Again, definitely like 100% can see that the earth is flat, and these are the reasons why it's flat, right? And I'm like, wow, that's cool. So yesterday I asked my guys, I said, what is it? Is the earth flat or is it round? Like, tell me. You know what they said? They said it's both. And I'm like, what? And they said, it's both flat and it's round. And I'm like, how is that possible? And they said, well, the thing is that we're thinking about the world from a place of it being physical. Because again, so much of us and so much of our lives is seen from a physical perspective. And so we think that it can only be one thing, but actually, when you look at how the universe works and how it's just an energetic field of lots of different possibilities, it could be anything based around what you think and how you see it. And again, what will happen is that if you think about it that way and see it that way, do not be surprised if you get more things coming in proving to you that it's that. But you know what? Like, if we look at this thing of how, and if you look at everything as just an energetic, like get rid of the concept of it being so physical and look at everything just being these energetic little things floating around in the universe, it could be anything. Because, and again, to be able to see it as being anything, that says to me, as conductors of our minds and, you know, the masters of our minds, that, because I mean, our mind is just a tool. It's like, if we again tune into this inner wisdom and get information around this next level of what the world looks like and what's happening and where we're going and all that sort of thing, it's like, if we can see that it could be anything, well, then guess what we're going to see more of? And again, we're going to start to see, again, we're going to see more awarenesses of truth. And you watch, you'll see, which says that there's actually no real truth unless, again, whatever you believe. You watch, like literally what then I was shown after that is I was shown another theory about the world. And I'm like, so at first it was just round, then it was just round and flat. Now I was shown another one, another theory. And I'm like, and they can all be true. Now, our minds don't really understand that, but can you see how something within you goes, something is telling me that there's something in it? My mind doesn't understand it, but I'm like, I can feel the truth of the fact that, okay, now if you look at the physicality of the planet, and if it could be all of those things, what about us?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm excited about.
Mm.
If the planet can be anything, oh my God, so can we. Like, we can literally be anything. We've got to get past, and that's a little bit big picture, but if we get past this concept of the physicality of and the solidity of things into seeing things differently. And again, using your senses will tell you there's something in this, and the more that you sense it, the more you'll start to see these realities exist in the external world, confirming to you that what you're feeling is true. And so again, what do you think we're going to see? We're going to start to see a different world. Very weird.
You know,
Very
Kim,
weird.
I totally agree with you. And what I'm seeing nowadays, and I'm going to say like post-pandemic nowadays, is that people aren't respecting the different views. And like, you know, so I'll openly say I believe the earth is flat, but if I'm not going to shove it down one's throat if they think the earth is round, for example. You know, I'm finding it, people are having a hard time respecting other people's thoughts on stuff.
Kind of feel sorry for them because they only see one way. Whereas can you see that if we tune into this infinite ability to, again, like if someone's only seeing things one way, they're just stuck in their head around that's the only way. That's okay, because that's their experience of it until, and again, like if they're in their head and they're actually receiving information, again, that confirms to them that what they think is true, they can't see anything else. But this is where, when you tune into your gut and your inner wisdom, you'll actually find that we don't have those limitations. And a lot of people, this is why I call what we're doing here an experience, because it's an experience of something else. And until someone's had an experience of something else, we can't really say much about that, because that's literally them telling us their experience. And if they are only in one track mind of how things are, I actually feel sorry, because they've not got this beautiful expansive feeling that we're experiencing. And I wish that for everyone. I wish that everyone could experience this beautiful feeling. And you know, I don't know if anyone else resonates with this, but we've all been there, where we actually were in that one place where we thought that what was true and that was the only truth that existed. And it's hard to be in that truth, especially when the external world is actually showing you more and more of how stuck you can be and how lost you can be and how bad the world is. And that's a hard place to be in. So I actually feel sorry for people who don't have the opportunity to step out of that into other possibilities, if that helps.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Lisa.
Hi, love. Hi.
So you mentioned that you have, I know this is completely off topic about what we're talking about, but I'm just so amazed by some of your gifts. So I was just wondering, so you have the gift of mediumship, you said, right? Yeah. So I know it's very personal, but are you able to channel spirits on the other side by any chance?
It's not channeling them, it's just talking to them. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So when you look at, I mean, I can pretty much do anything, but they're just different processes. So talking to spirits on the other side is a different thing to doing psychic work, which is a different thing to doing channeling. So I'll explain the difference between all of them and actually what you do, like between them. So to be honest, talking to spirits on the other side is probably the lowest frequency and vibration. I don't do a lot of it these days. I used to run mediumship nights and things like that, and just like Don Edward and all that kind of thing. I used to do like rooms of
having images of Whoopi Goldberg in Ghost.
The thing is, like, and again, we've been indoctrinated into the whole concept of what it looks like, because in movies they show it what they think, like what it looks like. Even when you watch, there's that movie of that series Medium, and how she gets spirits visiting her and all that sort of thing. It's really interesting because only recently I just saw her book at an op shop or something, and I just grabbed it because I just do that. Just grab books and just have them on just when people can pick them up. And I was looking at she was explaining the way she does her work, and she doesn't see them with her eyes. Whereas when you see the films, they see them with their eyes. Mind you, when I talk about Whoopi Goldberg, you will actually notice when she's talking to Patrick Swayze, you'll see that she's kind of looking off into the side, which is actually more correct. You don't see them. I mean, some people, to be honest, my sister can see them with her eyes and they come at her, but she can't talk to them. What I do is I can see them in my mind and talk to them through my mind. So, and I will say, to be honest, the way that I've started to really open up that area of my life is about 20 years ago. I trained and started being an EFT practitioner, which is tapping. So through tapping and working with so many different people using tapping, that's how all these things opened up. Because tapping, of course, opens up channels. So opens up so again, tapping is a fabulous tool. And so this is where, speaking to spirits on the other side, it's more, again, it's a lot of using senses and receiving images around, what they've got to say, all that sort of thing. So Tyler Henry, who's got he's got that beautiful Netflix show. It's really interesting. I was just watching that because I love him. He's gorgeous. Anyway, as I was watching it, I got the little whisper saying he does it the same way as you, and I'm like, what? And it just happened to me. I didn't learn. Anyway, I watched, and if you watch in his series, because he goes in without having an idea of who he's talking to and what's going to happen. But it starts off with the really basic awarenesses of, is this male or female? Again, your senses will say yes or no, older or younger, what's the relationship? Again, and all of a sudden you start to get an image of what they look like. And then he'll ask some kind of, private information that no one else knows. Now, you don't know that he's asking these questions because he's just scribbling on his pad to get out of his head, to be honest. That's his way of getting out of his head, is literally scribbling for him to get access to all that information. And then once you get those base elements, then it's pretty easy to connect to the rest, and they'll just keep showing you little bits and pieces. The thing is that they'll show you things that make sense to us as the reader, and then you've got to translate it. So again, it'll be, and particularly when someone's had a lot of experience of doing that kind of work, it'll be something that they'll say, okay, if they're showing me this traditionally means that, or that sort of thing. So Tyler Henry, I love watching him because he's definitely helps you to understand, because you'll see the pattern of how he does it time and time again through reading each person. You'll actually see he does have a system, and that's the system that he uses. So you've just had a little bit of an insight there. Psychic work is all about reading pathways. And so as I was saying, if someone said, okay, what's happening in my future? Because I've done past life work, I've done like future self, I've done like Akashic records, I've done everything, but no one's taught me. It's just happened, and it just is, right? So then psychic work is all about reading. So it's reading energy and reading. And so again, when you read it, what happens is you get shown bits and pieces of what's going to happen. And it's so interesting. I was shown, and just remember this, you guys, at the end of every year, I actually do readings for everyone for the next year, if you ever want to do that at the end of this year, for the next year. I remember I was saying to someone, you're going to like be traveling the world and get paid for it by your work. And they're like, I have no idea how that's going to happen. So what actually ended up happening at the beginning of the year is they, through whatever happens in the US with Trump's retirements, they've taken an early retirement, and now they're actually getting paid for the whole year and traveling around the world. Again, like what we think is true is like, we don't have any idea how that's going to unfold. And we just get out of the house because I said, I don't know what to tell you. This is just what's going to happen. And so that's just what's happened. So that's kind of that. And then with the channeling, it's all about like, this is where channeling is all, it's like, it's more universal information. So again, like bigger picture. So looking at the planet, it's almost like, again, being on the other side and looking down and getting that bigger picture around how it's happening. But I do love, actually, one of my passions is getting new information about things we have no idea about. So again, when I got that information about the planet, I'm like, what? Again, something within me goes, I can see how that could be true, but what? Again, their head's like always wants to go back to the physicality, but I'm like, again, that told me we can't do that anymore. But that's again, the gut gets excited because it's like, oh, thank God they're getting out of physicality of life. And again, we can move into this something else. So does that answer your question about all the different ways? And yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah.
That's just the basics, of that. There's so many other things. I used to do healing work as well, and psychic surgery on people, and remote clearings for houses. I can do everything. It's all on my website. I haven't actually changed it yet. I should actually change it because I don't really do all that work anymore. But I've seen everything. I really should actually write a book.
Oh, Kim,
it is a cool world. Yeah.
I just want to comment on this hour. I was scribbling notes, and the information you gave was so honestly enlightening. I mean, I've been pulling from different places, but some of the ways you explained and some of the ways you, I thought I loved it. So no pressure, but please, will you do another one of these? Like, please, will you come back and do something with us? Like, I really enjoyed this time with you so thoroughly.
Well, we have said that we'll do this once a month.
Oh my God! Yay! Okay, that makes me very happy.
I feel so blessed to have had this first opportunity for us to start the conversation, because I feel like now you've given us insight, and even for myself, to be able to understand how to even show up with, different ideas, or to ask about, how to follow certain energy pathways. Like, I too am amazed at the enlightenment that I've been gifted from this discussion. Some of the small things that you talk so quickly and easily through about how the mind its job is to be busy. Its job is to think. Its job is to prove that it can process information. So it is constantly seeking to do that. And that part of our challenge is to tell it to hush in order to be able to allow there to be space, so that we then have the ability to instead tune into sense and how much that can amplify and what that has the capacity to be able to affect. And I'm so interested in learning more about those things and how to give ourselves other navigational tools, equipment, right? To start to become the captain of that ship more. Yeah. So I'm so grateful as well for this past hour. And I know that we've got 3 minutes left. So I want to let there be a last opportunity. If there's anyone that has like a burning question or something that you want to say or ask, or even some parting advice, or,
I will have some parting advice. So I loved how you said space, and technically with my universal mind work, what we do like in the first week is all about no thoughts. So again, whenever you have a thought that you don't want, now this is weird, but if you have a thought, especially a recurring thought that's kind of boring, right? You just say no thoughts and you take a couple of deep breaths and it'll go, but it'll actually go for good. You won't actually have that thought ever again, which is crazy. Now, also, you can also do, as well as the no thoughts, is that you can say to yourself, I'm going to step into the space or step into the nothing. And it also, you'll feel your whole nervous system. When you can say no thoughts or stepping into the space or stepping into nothing, your whole nervous system really calms down and you just feel so calm and peaceful. And that's like the reset that you can have to just changing this whole system. And this is the way I do call it a system. I'm an ex-wedding planner, so I'm all about systems. So it's like, the system we used to have was that the brain would go around like this. Now it's about just moving into having nothing in there and receiving guidance and wisdom. And also the processing system is your gut. So it's like, this is where you get all the information from, and you process information from there. You watch with your mind. The thing the mind needs, because it does need something, is it needs images. So once you receive an idea, like you might have seen as I was talking today, or even when you're talking to someone, your mind is actually giving you images of what that looks like. And that's literally how the mind works. And this is why vision boards work, because it's all about the vision and the mind. And the mind also works on associations, because it likes to do like short, quick links to things, so you can get the information quicker. So what I always say is make sure, and I've also got a little, I'll send it through to you, Michelle, about this little no thoughts screensaver that you can put on your phones and everything, which is super beautiful. This, like, if you just look at the fact that everything is an image in your head and you just keep images in your mind of, again, what you want or where you want to go or anything like that, your mind actually just needs that as an anchor. If you've got nothing in your mind, it actually keeps searching. It's a search engine pretty much. That's what your mind is the search engine. If you've got nothing there, then it starts to get a little bit, you get stressed and you get a bit worried. So it's like, just keep the images in your head and make everything about an image, and just keep really clear images in your head. And then when it starts to worry or stress about anything, come back to the image. Remember that? And then it'll start to calm down again. But practice the no thoughts and stepping into space and nothing, and then having an image, and you watch, you'll start to see that you'll be calm, you'll have less thoughts, and you'll start to tune into more about, this tuition and your next steps. So that.
Wow.
Thanks for the love hearts.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Thank you so much. This has been such a treat, and it has been such a pleasure to receive and to feel, and the instruction. I mean, there's so much to think about, in order to digest what we just had the opportunity to be here and be part of. And Kim, I'm so grateful. It's such a delight to be able to introduce you to the girls. And now I would bet that every single one of us is going to be like, hey, when's the next one? And they're going to be looking for it to get it in their calendar. And now we've got a month to be able to plan and think, oh, I'm going to ask Kim this. Oh, we're going to have conversations about this. So, on the platform, I mean, you know, we're excited. There may be some questions that will get posted onto the platform in between now and then. It has been such a treat and a delight to have you. And again, it is 6 a.m. in Kim's world, right? She's logging in from Australia. So I mean, I so appreciate the openness to be able to be here with all of us and to do this. So thank you so much. So
Thanks
grateful.
for having me. It's been a pleasure
Kim.
to see you all. I'm so excited to see you. See you next month.
See you next
Yeah,
month.
looking forward to it.
Amazing. Bye, everybody.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Aw.